like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like you know me. Treat me for just who and what I am. Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like you know me. Just treat me for who and what I am. Don't treat me like a woman.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is episode number 114, part number 1 of the number 1 fucking podcast that you're going to see in your subscription boxes right here on YouTube.com for everything WWE. This is Off the Script. Thank you guys so much for joining me this weekend. Not going to go over the top with the introduction this week. It's been a very, very long and sad week for WWE fans, wrestling fans in general. As you all know, the death of Chyna this week, and everybody is still trying to figure out what happened. And it was just a crazy last 48 hours, man. Really. Started live on Out of Nowhere with Joe. We were getting information as it was becoming available at the second it was available, live on Out of Nowhere, man. It was unbelievable. And the funny thing is, and I know Joe appreciates it, and I certainly appreciate it, so many of you came out and reached out to us on Twitter, stating that we handled ourselves with professionalism and class. And we gained a lot of new subscribers and followers because we handled everything like genuine WWE fans. That's the most important thing that I take away from it, man. Fuck the donations. Fuck the people that come into the chat and, you know, intentionally try to troll. You know, that stuff is going to be there. You know, we have fun with the donations, and I know Joe really didn't feel comfortable taking donations when we were all trying to just honestly sit down and digest what was going on, you know. But at the end of it all, the one thing that I take away from what happened on Out of Nowhere, and then, you know, leading into Thursday and then Friday as we become more open-eyed to the entire situation, that, you know, this really did happen, that we handled ourselves with professionalism and class. That's the one thing that means the most to me, man. So thank you guys so much for coming out and stating what you felt and, you know, being a part of Out of Nowhere and spending your Wednesday evening, Thursday morning with us as the news broke, man. That means the world to me, and I'm sure it does to Joe as well. So thank you guys very, very much. If you guys missed my opinion piece on Chyna, and you guys want to actually dissect and understand where I'm coming from as far as this entire situation goes, I'm going to leave you a link in the video, as always. And I'm going to link it in the description towards the very top down below. Make sure you guys go check that out, okay? Number 2, there are a few other videos I do want you guys to check out because I do feel YouTube has been broken all week. And it's just something that I know is happening, and I just feel it. I know things aren't right. So I'm going to leave you 2 other videos. One was a Black Ops 3 video, if you guys love the video game side of things for my content. Black Ops 3, 51 kill gameplay on the new DLC map Spire. Make sure you guys go check that out. I was streaming live with my buddy, Dr. Evil Genius. Him and I carried our team to a very, very impressive victory on one of the new maps. Go and check that out. Link will also be down in the description. And a day in the life of JD number 4 as you and I take a ride to the Atlantic City Beer Fest. And I was there with my best friend, Sean. So make sure you guys go check that out. And you would definitely find entertainment value in that video as well. So make sure you guys go check all that stuff out and show those videos some love, courtesy of Team JD. Follow me on Twitter, at JDfromNY206. We are nearing 10,000 followers, man. Getting very, very close to 10,000 followers. So if you guys want to know what's going on with the channel, and if you want to tweet with me during Monday Night Raw and NXT takeovers and pay-per-views, Twitter is the place to be, man. At JDfromNY206. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. Join me right here because this is what I do, and I do it better than anybody else on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more great WWE content. WrestleCrate.com. If you guys want to subscribe for the best, and I mean the best subscription service delivered to your front door for pro wrestling shit, that's WrestleCrate.com. So make sure you guys go check them out, WrestleCrate.com, and on Twitter at WrestleCrates. Use the coupon code JDSentMe for an instant 10% off your very first purchase. Make sure you guys also go out and get your pro wrestling tees, Goon City, Get Off My TV version 1 and version 2, and the original prototype Get Off My TV t-shirt for this podcast. There's 4 great options to choose from. ProWrestlingTees.com/offthescript, and there is new ideas in the works. That t-shirt shop is going to look absolutely fucking epic when all is said and done, man. I got a Ramen Reigns t-shirt brewing. I got the version 3 of Get Off My TV coming. Who is it going to be? I'm sure you guys know already if you're following me on Twitter. So make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts. To those who ordered already, thank you so much for continuing to support Off the Script. And the podcast on iTunes and PodBean, that will be up either Friday or Saturday. I still have not been able to work on it. I've been so busy with other shit for the channel. Work is kicking my ass. So I really do have to find time to, give you guys a very, very good podcast in which you can listen to on iTunes and PodBean. That will be up either Friday or Saturday. But if you guys want to go check out, I got 13 other fucking episodes up there, bro. Make sure you guys go check that out. Links to all that, iTunes, PodBean, Stitcher Radio, and AudioBoom linked down below in the description. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's talk about WWE, okay? Let's bring some positivity to people's lives, man. Everybody is wondering what's happening with Seth Rollins. When is he returning to the WWE? When is he going to be back on Monday Night Raw? And when is he going to be challenging for the title that he never lost? And when will he be targeting Roman Reigns? Seth Rollins' return coming much sooner than anyone can expect. The injuries over the past year have totally decimated the WWE main roster, especially at the main event level. One of the biggest was that to Seth Rollins, who was injured back in November and expected to miss 6 to 9 months. Some thought it would be closer to 9 months, but there have been signs that things are progressing quicker than normal. And it looks like the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion could be back sooner than you think. Back in early November, Rollins was injured in a house show against Kane, and it wasn't just a simple bump or tweak. He ended up tearing his MCL, ACL, and his meniscus, which was almost as serious as knee injuries could possibly get. It was expected that Seth Rollins would hold the WWE World Heavyweight title going into WrestleMania 32 and take part in the main event. That had to change, as did a number of other ideas and plans due to injuries, but the former member of the Shield could be back soon. Business to Community noticed a behind-the-scenes look at Rollins actually working out, and he really showed no true signs of the injury affecting him as of right now. Now it's going to be much different once he steps back into the ring, but it definitely is a positive sign. Fans are anxiously awaiting for him to get healthy enough so that he can get back in the ring and go back to the hot streak he was on before his injury. Honestly, Rollins was tearing things up, and not only had he won the WWE World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, but he also defeated John Cena, Sting, and many others in months that followed. Right before WrestleMania 32, Rollins arrived in Dallas and was seen walking around backstage with a good bit of a limp. WWE actually posted a video on their Vine that showed him dressed in all black, in an all-black suit, and still looking the part of the major heel he was. Yes, he had the limp, but was moving around pretty well while walking around backstage. Fan-sided made it a point to focus on the fact that WWE and Rollins could be working the fans, meaning trolling, and that was, he was making the limp look worse than it actually was, specifically for that Vine video. Sure, he may not be ready to return this very second, but it may not be that long until he's back and going after the WWE World title again. If Rollins can make it back by the beginning of the summer, he could easily be put into a program for SummerSlam. Depending on if they bring Rollins back as a heel or face, he could then take on Triple H and the Authority or go after Roman Reigns if the title is still around his waist at that time. Cesaro just made his return from injury and is getting a big push, which I will have news on this weekend. But there are a number of others still on the shelf. John Cena is still not ready to return full-time. Randy Orton is still a couple of months away. Bray Wyatt was just sent home from the European tour with a calf injury, which I am hearing is not that serious. I also have news on that, of which its extent is not yet known completely. But WWE is letting us know that it is not a serious injury for Bray Wyatt. Big-time talent is hurting, and the return of Seth Rollins could really turn the main event around. And the return of Seth Rollins is something that the WWE really needs right now and could certainly use for Monday Night Raw. It's been difficult to keep fans interested in Roman Reigns, and Rollins would instantly jump right back into the main event scene. With injuries keeping so many other big names sidelined, his presence could jumpstart excitement and boost ratings as well. His intense training may mean that he's on his way to returning to WWE sooner than we all think. Seth Rollins back on TV is going to be one of the best moments of 2016. WWE right now, it might not show in the ratings, but they are riding a minimal wave of momentum with 3 decent Monday Night Raws. Obviously, the Raw after Mania was decent. The Monday Night Raw that followed the following week was absolutely fantastic. And Monday Night Raw this current week from the UK was decent, but it was slightly boring, being that it wasn't a live show here on the East Coast in the States. It really didn't progress any storylines outside of the Bullet Club and AJ Styles and the drama that is affecting that scenario. So it really wasn't all that impressive of a show. There really wasn't that much of a surprise to anything that happened on that show. We still have Shane McMahon, running Monday Night Raw, which, like I said, will probably be and lead to a feud with the Authority. I have news on that as well. I got a lot of news this weekend, so make sure you guys stick it with Off the Script. But Seth Rollins, depending how WWE goes with this, okay? Depending how WWE goes with this, if Roman Reigns is going to battle the Bullet Club, or if Roman Reigns is going to lead the Bullet Club, I don't know what direction WWE is going. There's a wild card here by the name of Finn Balor, which we don't know how it's going to play out. He honestly is the wild card. We don't know how any of this is playing out. Okay? This could all eventually be the moment Finn Balor makes his WWE Monday Night Raw debut, his main roster debut. This is what this could lead to. I don't know what's going on. We came up with every fucking scenario possible. AJ Styles turning heel, leading the Bullet Club, Roman Reigns and WWE maintaining him wanting to be a face, or WWE wanting him to be the face of the company, and him aligning himself with Rollins and Ambrose to take on the Bullet Club with AJ Styles leading that faction. We thought of the Bullet Club turning on AJ Styles and keeping Styles face, while building the momentum that Roman Reigns is building right now as a heel, and having Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows align himself with Roman Reigns, and they make up the new Bulletproof for WWE, while Rollins and Ambrose side with AJ Styles. Again, even at that point, if you want to go with that scenario, Finn Balor is still the wild card. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. The only thing that I know for a fact is that Seth Rollins is coming back as a face. Seth Rollins is coming back as a face. There's no fucking way Rollins is coming back and he's going to be booed upon his return. There's no way. There's no way. WWE has to tie up loose ends with Rollins and Triple H. Maybe he can play a role in the Shane McMahon Triple H saga that seems to be building. We don't know, man. WWE has so much potential. This is the one thing that we all know. WWE has so much potential right now that it's a tad bit overwhelming. WWE was stressed out to the point where they had all these guys injured and they couldn't deliver good programming. They couldn't even deliver a good WrestleMania with all the injuries to the roster. Now I have a feeling that WWE is going to be so overwhelmed with all their talent, healthy, and coming back at the same time, that they're going to be stressed out to the point where they have so much good ideas, so much good shit that they can do, that they're going to drop the ball on the majority of it. So, I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know what's going on here. Seth Rollins, yes, he's going to target the WWE Championship eventually. I don't think he's going to come back and immediately target the WWE Championship, because to me that wouldn't make sense. I think WWE has money right now in this saga with the Bullet Club and a potential Shield return and the Bullet Club forming in WWE, it's definitely interesting to know what WWE's got up their sleeve. It really is. And I would not thrust Seth Rollins immediately in the WWE title picture to come back and say, listen, I want my title right away. You know, lead up to it a little bit. We still have Money in the Bank. There's rumors going around that Seth Rollins could win Money in the Bank. There's so much potential right now that even someone like me can't even digest it. You know, there's just so much swirling around right now, so many possibilities that can go on. And we got to look at this with excitement, because this is the first time in a long time that we have something to be excited about. There's so much potential and so much opportunity for WWE to make WWE and Raw and their programming fucking great. I just hope that they don't drop the ball. You know, they have so many guys coming back from injury. It's going to be a good year, man. 2015 was terrible with all the injuries. Leading into 2016, it bled into the first 3 months of 2016. The summer could be epic. With Cena, Orton, Wyatt, Neville, Cesaro, Rollins back. The debut of Samoa Joe, I'm hearing. The debut of Finn Balor. You got the Bullet Club. You got AJ Styles, Roman Reigns potentially walking that line of finally turning heel. WWE has some damn good fucking possibilities brewing this summer, man. Money in the Bank, I think, is going to be a big, big pay-per-view. It's going to be a big pay-per-view. That's going to be a catalyst to see which direction WWE is going to go. Going to be a great show, man. Going to be a great summer, and I'm excited for it. But Seth Rollins, he'll be back sooner than we all expect. He'll be back. You know, his CrossFit regimen and his training is no secret. So if Seth Rollins is working out like he usually does, he'll be back soon. WWE obviously should not rush him back, but when the time is right, he'll be back way before the time expected. And Seth Rollins is going to return as a babyface. Guarantee that. Now, moving on, guys, I do have other news here, okay? I'm going to save the Finn Balor stuff for tomorrow because I'm reading reports right now that Balor could make his way to WWE immediately after Payback. I'm reading that WWE has plans for Finn Balor which have been described as pushed to the moon. Whatever the fuck that means. But if someone's going to be pushed to the moon, it's definitely going to be Finn Balor. Okay, because Finn Balor, to me, with Daniel Bryan now retired, I think Finn Balor could certainly be the face of the WWE. Seriously, if there's one guy that I thought could replace John Cena, it was Daniel Bryan. That obviously is no more. The other guy, not Roman Reigns, it's not Seth Rollins. Finn Balor is the guy to replace John Cena as the number one face of that company if WWE wants. He has it all. He has it all. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Speaking of the Bullet Club, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows will make their in-ring debut next week live on Monday Night Raw from Hartford, Connecticut. Several months ago, it was announced that AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Karl Anderson, and Doc Gallows were all headed to the WWE in 2016, which was an earth-shattering announcement at the time. Since then, AJ Styles debuted at the Royal Rumble and has found a top spot in WWE very quickly. At NXT TakeOver Dallas earlier this month, it was Nakamura's turn to make a huge impact for the company, and he did against Sami Zayn in what will be, no question in my mind, the match of 2016. Only 2 weeks ago, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows finally debuted on WWE television after being held off for a very long time. They attacked the Usos in their debut and then attacked WWE Champion Roman Reigns this past Monday night on Raw to add a ton of intrigue to Payback. How WWE is going to build Anderson and Gallows as a unit is one of the most interesting stories going through WWE right now, but we'll get a big chapter of the story next week on Raw. According to several sources, it was revealed during Tuesday's SmackDown tapings that Anderson and Gallows will be making their in-ring debut on Raw next week against the Usos. There are a lot of expectations about what these two men will do in WWE, but the possibilities, like I said, and this report is even saying it, the possibilities for WWE are endless. It could lead to a heel turn for AJ Styles. It may even lead to a main roster debut of Finn Balor. Or it may lead to something we would never see coming. All we know is that fans of the WWE us as fans of the WWE are going to have to wait, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Now, we discussed Finn Balor coming to the main roster. We don't know. Like I said, he's going to be a wild card. Ideas have been thrown out, like I stated already, with Anderson and Gallows joining AJ Styles as a heel faction. But I don't think it would be right to turn AJ after building him up as a babyface. If WWE wanted him to be a heel, they should have brought him in as a heel. They should have saved AJ Styles debuting along with the Bullet Club. We're going to call them the Bullet Club because that's what they are. Until they are given a WWE official name, we're going to call them the Bullet Club. I would have waited for AJ Styles to make their debut with Anderson and Gallows when they did it. That's what my proposed idea was. WWE wasted an opportunity on AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble, and it really didn't come off as all that grand. Now WWE is realizing what they have in AJ Styles. He's probably the best fucking worker in the world. He's probably the best worker on the roster right now. So I don't know why WWE thought that having him in the Royal Rumble was going to do anything. It really didn't. He didn't play a factor in the Rumble. He wasn't going to win the Rumble. People and reporters and people within the business were stating that they didn't even expect AJ Styles to be challenging for WWE championships upon his stint in the company. Now, that obviously has proved them all wrong because he's in the world title match at Payback. I would have waited. And I would have had all three of them attack the Usos. Some type of invasion going on. I would not make him heel. It doesn't make sense with the merchandise and the crowd following and the theme music that got over almost instantaneously. AJ Styles needs to be a face. Okay? Which makes me believe that Anderson and Gallows are going to side with Roman Reigns. Again, the only thing that's throwing me off here is Finn Balor. Do they align Finn Balor with Anderson and Gallows, being that he's been teasing this for months? Do they align Finn Balor with AJ Styles? I don't know. And even on that side of things, I don't want Finn Balor coming to the main roster as a heel. That would be fucking terrible. You need Finn Balor as a babyface. Everything about that act is a babyface. His fucking theme, his entrance, his mannerisms, everything that he's done in NXT reeks of babyface. Nothing about what he does is heel. So I can't see that either. So what do we do here? What do we do here? I really don't know. If WWE can come up with something that's going to blow us away, God bless them. I just have a feeling that WWE is going to drop the ball on this. There's so many moving parts to this that I don't think that they're going to be able to handle it and give us something that makes sense. Honestly. That's just the way I feel. I brought up this idea on Out of Nowhere before we got the news of Chyna passing. What if Roman Reigns does really start the Roman Empire? Seriously, what if he does start the Roman Empire? He's got the Usos, and they hire Samoa Joe. They got the Samoan connection. And then you got AJ, you got Anderson, you got Gallows, and you got Finn Balor. You got the whole makeup right there of the Bullet Club versus the Roman Empire. That could be something that WWE could do as well. That would be a great way to introduce AJ Styles and maintain him as a face. That would be a great way to introduce the crowd and the WWE Universe to Finn Balor, who's going to be a face. You make them a face faction. And you continue Roman Reigns on the path of being a heel. Samoa Joe is a heel, probably the best heel in the fucking company. You got the Usos, turn them heel. They could certainly use something to change. Their entire team could use a change. Maybe a heel turn is what they need. Roman Reigns, have him continue down that path as a heel. That could be something that could be worked out as well. And save Seth Rollins for the Shane McMahon Triple H storyline. Maybe Shane McMahon can hire the services of Seth Rollins and he can go against Triple H for the control of the company at SummerSlam. And they can tie up loose ends there. I don't know. That's just an idea. We talked about that on Out of Nowhere on Wednesday. That was one of the ideas that I brought up to Joe and everybody listening to Out of Nowhere on Wednesday. But that's just one of many possibilities. We don't know. And then Dean Ambrose, everybody's talking about the possibility of the Shield reforming. Dean Ambrose would be the odd man left out. What is he going to be doing? What is Dean Ambrose going to be doing this summer if the Shield is not really going to be getting back together? My original idea was the Shield versus the Bullet Club. The more and more we see, and the more we think about it, and the more we see these moving pieces and we hear these rumors, the more unlikely it is that the Shield is coming back. If they do, great. They're one of the best factions in the history of WWE. They carried the company on their fucking back ever since they debuted. Everything that the Shield did was fucking great. They were amazing to watch every week on Monday Night Raw. And the match with the Wyatts at Elimination Chamber, I believe it was 2014, one of the best fucking matches that WWE's put on in the last 25 years. Unbelievable. So many moving pieces. But all we can say is that we're excited to see what happens. I just hope WWE doesn't drop the ball. Gallows and Anderson going to be making their in-ring debut on Monday Night Raw. Against who? I don't know yet. Certainly, they will be making a mighty impression on Raw. Probably going to win, more than likely going to win their debut match. The Vaudevillains having issues on the main roster. Vince McMahon is having second thoughts. On paper, the Vaudevillains are doing very well on the main roster so far. They've reached the finals of the #1 contender tag team tournament, and they'll face Enzo and Cass at Payback, which I'm very interested to see, with a very believable chance of winning that match. However, there's a rumor going around that Aiden English and Simon Gotch are struggling behind the scenes on the main roster, and it could thwart their potential success on Raw and SmackDown. According to DailyWrestlingNews.com, DWN, many were surprised within WWE to see the Vaudevillains brought up to the main roster from NXT. Apparently, Vince McMahon is second-guessing this decision. There's a feeling amongst some within WWE that they were only brought to the main roster because of how long they've been down in NXT and their lack of direction for the brand in recent months. In the same breath, those same people think it's far too soon for them to feud with the New Day and be involved with the Tag Team Championships on the main roster. The expectation is that Enzo and Cass will defeat the Vaudevillains at Payback because Vince McMahon and others are said to be very, very high on them based on their team chemistry and their immediate connection with the WWE Universe. It's unclear what would happen to the Vaudevillains after that, but the belief is that the Dudleys would cost Enzo and Cass their Tag Team Championship match down the road and ignite a bigger feud between those two teams. Simply put, Enzo and Cass are going to be pushed, and English and Gotch are going to have to wait in line for a little while to see if they can get over with the WWE Universe. I don't like this labeling of individual superstars, and I don't like this labeling of teams that come up to the main roster upon their debut, and immediately Vince McMahon is souring on them, and the WWE people and the higher-ups are labeling them a failure, and the WWE Universe doesn't get them. This is WWE's fault, okay? Instead of giving us, okay, and I know how hyped everybody was for the Raw after Mania, and the WWE made one fucking video promo saying that the Vaudevillains were going to debut on SmackDown. That's great. Who are the Vaudevillains? Who are they? What are they about? Instead of debuting them with some hype and some momentum behind them with several video packages leading up to this day, WWE takes a 20-second video package or a still shot highlighting that they're going to be on SmackDown and they're going to be making their main roster debut that Thursday, after Raw after Mania. The Raw after Mania concluded and we were going to get the Vaudevillains on SmackDown. That was all we got. Okay? Yes, I like the Vaudevillains. Yes, I like the gimmick. Yes, I think they are a great team. I think they got great chemistry. I think they have the possibility of being a solid team in the division that's always going to go out there and give you a solid match. What I don't understand is why people are having second thoughts. One of my subscribers came to me and respectfully disagreed with my thought process on my Monday Night Raw review. I said Enzo and Cass were going to walk out of this winning the tournament and winning the tag team championships. I jumped the gun a little bit, and I admit I was wrong. His idea, to me, or his rebuttal to me was, JD, I think it would be better if the Vaudevillains win this to gain more momentum on them, to give them another push, to make sure the WWE Universe takes them seriously. Enzo and Cass, we know as fans, and as people who do this on the internet, and we talk about WWE in our daily, weekly activities. We know Enzo and Cass are going to be set up to be the tag team champions. There's no reason to rush them. There really is no reason to rush them. A feud with the Dudleys could do both teams very well, and I agree with that. I think the chemistry between the Dudleys and Enzo and Cass could be fucking fantastic, like we seen on Monday Night Raw. We got a taste of that on Raw. The Vaudevillains, going into this, challenging the New Day for the Tag Team Championships, just being in the match with the New Day, I think could get them over. If you want to pull the trigger, and you want to make the Vaudevillains a serious threat, if you want the WWE Universe to take these guys seriously, have them pull off an upset. Have them beat the New Day. Have them win the Tag Team Championships. They're a good enough team to the point where they can get over and just make the titles credible. Remain credible. That's what I think. The New Day doesn't need the tag team titles anymore. They've done all they could with the titles. They've done all they could for the division. But, the money feud to me is Enzo and Cass versus the New Day. That's the money feud. That's the one I want to see at SummerSlam. But there's a long time between now and SummerSlam. If you give the Vaudevillains, a month reign as tag team championships, obviously New Day is going to have a rematch clause. They could win the titles back. They could win the titles back at Money in the Bank or Extreme Rules or whatever the fuck's coming in July, Battleground, whatever the fuck's coming, man. WWE could always take the titles off the Vaudevillains, but having them pull off an upset could raise some eyebrows. And I think that would be not only good for the division and this reemergence of tag team wrestling, but having an NXT team come up and just dominate like the Vaudevillains, I think that would be fucking great for them, man. The WWE Universe doesn't know what they want. That's what pisses me off about the casual fan. They don't appreciate the fact that the Vaudevillains are a throwback on old school gimmicks. See, when I used to watch wrestling, and when most of my viewers used to watch wrestling, the Vaudevillains gimmick, and something like that gimmick back in the early days of WWF, that's what we watched for. We were always mesmerized by gimmicks. These guys have a great fucking gimmick. These guys have a gimmick that's underappreciated. They have a gimmick that people, including me, knew would fail on the main roster simply because of the way the casual fan thinks. That's not right. These guys are too talented. And everybody is overlooking the talent that these guys possess for their fucking gimmick. Oh, it sucks. It's never going to get over. These guys fucking blow. This is never going to get over on the main roster, etc., etc. These guys look like jokes. They look like jobbers. It's a throwback on old school gimmicks in WWF. They have everything to succeed. They're unique. They're different. They're a tag team that flows well and has great team chemistry. Why wouldn't they succeed? If you love tag team wrestling, if you can appreciate tag team wrestling, you will appreciate the Vaudevillains. That's all I'm going to say about that. But labeling these guys failures, Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and everybody else labeling these guys failures because they're not getting over, that's your fault. You put them in a position to not get over. Everybody needs to be hyped up. Give these guys 3, 4, 5 weeks of promos, hyping them. Before they make their debut, people will know much more about them instead of just throwing them into the fucking fire and having them get over on their own. If you believe in a talent, you will do what you have to do to get them over. All these guys did in NXT was give you solid matches. They performed as a solid tag team. You're going to waste all the years they spent down at NXT to bring them up and make them another Ascension? Fuck no. That's the last thing I want to see happen. The casual fan, you got to get through your fucking skull. You got to appreciate the gimmick and you got to appreciate what the Vaudevillains bring to the table. Not everybody could be a New Day. Not everybody could be an Enzo and Cass. Not everybody could be a fucking Usos. These guys are a throwback on old school wrestling, and it's up to you guys to fucking learn and appreciate what they bring to the table. Don't label them as failures, because they're not. They're a damn good fucking tag team. And one more thing, guys, I just want to throw this out there to close the episode. The Ascension, speaking of the Ascension's Viktor has now joined the Social Outcasts. Like, we didn't see that one coming. It's possible that WWE may just have found a way to turn a negative into a positive and kill two birds with one stone. Earlier this week, Adam Rose of the Social Outcasts and the Ascension's Connor have been suspended for 60 days from WWE after violating WWE's wellness policy for a second time in their careers. While Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel can keep things going with the Social Outcast stable, this news has left the Ascension's Viktor up the stream without a paddle. However, WWE thought it was a good idea to combine the two. After all, Viktor didn't do anything wrong. During a WWE live event in Newcastle, the Social Outcasts have announced Viktor as the newest member of the Social Outcast and the replacement for Adam Rose. While it's a little out of left field, it's a great idea to get Viktor on television, and sometimes in wrestling, you never know how a lost spot will allow another superstar to thrive. It'll be interesting to see more of Viktor on WWE television and see what he brings to the group. I don't care. WWE fucked the Ascension up to the point where I don't think anybody cares about them anymore, man. But as far as the wellness policy goes, Connor, I don't know when his first one was. I still haven't found out news about when that was. So he's going to be gone 60 days. I appreciate WWE trying to keep Viktor active and in something to do, but as far as the Social Outcasts go, they're nobodies, man. Nobody's going to look at Viktor any differently. At least he has something to do, and at least he's going to be on television, and he's going to remain active. Adam Rose, I got news about Adam Rose and about his suspension. He spoke out about it. He didn't do anything knowingly wrong. And he tells you exactly what he did and the drugs that he took, and he's pinning the blame on his doctors. So he got an understanding from his doctor that this is a legal substance, that this will be okay for the wellness policy within the company, and that did not happen. So now Adam Rose and his battle against the doctors is something that we have to be wary of, and that's coming in the coming days, because he said he is definitely going to speak out about that. He didn't do anything wrong, according to him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happened with that. I got news on Adam Rose and what he exactly said, so make sure you guys, just like everything else, I got news on Finn Balor, I got news on Samoa Joe, I got news on John Cena, I got news on Shane McMahon versus Triple H, I got news on why The Rock was kept away from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, major changes for AJ Styles, major changes continue to be happening in the women's division, plus one new change that WWE is going to be working on. WWE already teasing a match for The Undertaker and Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania 33, and has the New Day been punished by WWE and Vince McMahon? All this plus so much more, guys. You don't want to go anywhere. This is the #1 fucking podcast on YouTube.com for everything WWE. I'm JD. Make sure you guys check the description for all the videos I want you to check out. T-shirts, Twitter, YouTube, out of nowhere. Everything you guys need is down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching part 1 of episode 114. I will be back for part 2 on your Saturday morning. Until then, hit that thumbs up. Let's get this to 1,000 likes, as always, for episode 1, or part 1 of the new episode for Off the Script on Friday morning. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until then, I'll see you on Saturday morning. I'm JD, and I'll talk to you all then. Have a good night.